and gentlemen, RedX is back with another RedX review of epic proportions. Today we're going back way back in 2002 with the start of Transformers Armada series. And I can totally say that these lines from the Armada trilogy, or I mean the Unicron trilogy, really were not that special. They were all filled with gimmicks, like Armada, the Minicons, ruined the articulation on the figures. Energon got the articulation back, but they also had those gimmicks where they actually combined with one another, which just didn't look good at times. And then of course there's Cybertron, which that's a story for another day, and I mean way out there for another day. Anyway, today we're looking at level 4 Megatron, as he's not called leader class, because if I recall on their packaging back then, the Armada line was pretty much the ending to what was actually called leader class, Voyager class, deluxe class, scout class, which were also level 1, 2, 3, and 4 on their packaging. I think that's where it all ended. I could be wrong, maybe it was Energon, but they started calling them Scout Class, Deluxe Class, Voyager Class, and Leader Class soon after that. So here's Megatron in his nice looking tank mode. Very show accurate, might I add, even though it's got more additional detail because, you know, to be honest, the show was actually cartoon drawn, not CGI, so, I mean, you can't really throw too much detail in it, otherwise the creators be working on it for a long time, and it'd probably be a drag. Anyway, here it is. It's nice looking. Megatron has some nice rolling wheels, unlike some Megatron figures of today, where they're molded on bits of plastic, which I'm not going to discuss anymore. They roll nicely. They also make a very annoying sound. Megatron's turn to his tank actually has some articulation. It lifts up, lifts down like a normal tank would. The turret also rotates. It also gives away one of the gimmicks. He has electronic lights and sounds. Unfortunately, this is the only thing he says in tank mode, really. Doesn't even sound like Megatron. Anyway, Megatron is loaded with some gimmicks for his tank mode, which I'm going to discuss in a minute, when first I gotta show you off his Minicon. And not just one leader one, but 2 leader ones. Yes, my Megatron figure came with 2 leader ones. How did that get out of sight at Hasbro during the packaging days? I don't know. But you know what? I'm not going to complain about it because my Megatron is kind of faulty. As you saw, his turret actually rotates very easily. It's not supposed to do that. It's supposed to have like a clicking motion, but it's broken, unfortunately. And what else can I say? It's broken. If it doesn't click, it's broke. So I'm not about to fix it, and I'm not about to complain about it. I'm just going to go ahead and show you off the gimmicks. So, to start off with, Leader 1, you can plug him into this Minicon port right here, which Megatron has a total of 10 in tank mode. So you slide it back. I'll get my hand out of the way so you can see this. You slide it back. And that's not working. Okay, let me try it again. You slide back Leader 1, and as you can see, this cannon right here is lifting up. And if you slide him to the left, or I mean the right, it'll actually lock into place where there's this button right here. You can fire off the missiles if you so choose, but I'm not going to do that. It's a waste of time, and I don't want to go and get the missiles. So I'm just going to let that back down. Also, on the top here, on his cover, you can plug him in, and if you turn him to the right, you can have a repeated sound of him firing his cannon, which is nice. But you really don't need Leader 1 for that. You can actually take Leader 1 off, and you can press it yourself, and you'll hear it click. And sometimes if you actually hold it in the right place, it'll continue to fire, like so. See? Funny. That's enough about that. And Megatron also, for his cannon, it does fire off. As you can see, it's got a spring, so that's a dead giveaway right there. So if you push back on Megatron's cannon, you can fire off the missile, and you can hit the camera and probably damage it as well. Hopefully I didn't do that. Looks fine. I will retrieve his missile and put it back in. And there you go. Now, what did I say earlier? Megatron has a total of 10 Minicon ports in his tank mode. Yes, it is true. He does. And I'm going to show them off one by one. There's one right there. One right there. That's 3 right here. 4, 5, 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There we go. That's right. I forgot the top ones. So yeah, he's got 7 right there. But if you press this button right here, it gives him an additional 3 ports. So Megatron can be loaded with maximum power by just all these ports. I mean, I wonder why Megatron even lost that final battle against Optimus Prime on the final episode of Transformers Armada entitled Mortal Kombat. Go figure. Anyway, that's a story for another day as well. So, beyond that, the only last thing that Megatron really has as a gimmick for his tank mode is that this panel right here can open up. And this compartment can split like so. You can trap a Minicon in here and detain him, I guess. You can also flip down this ramp. And unfortunately, it's not a safe place to be for a Minicon because there's this little claw that comes out that can grip a Minicon. And if you have like a small one, like maybe Tidal Wave's Minicon, you could actually get him in there. I've done it before. So, the last thing for his tank mode would be right here, his antennas for robot mode, which, you know, he's got the head reveal syndrome, unfortunately. Anyway, they actually have a spring gimmick. They flip right back, but you can actually, like, grab some Minicons or maybe the annoying humans from the show and keep them hostage. So, that's it for his tank mode. It is nice, but unfortunately, that's the issue. I mean, it's nice, but when there's too much niceness in certain modes, there's going to be an issue with the following mode, which I'm about to show off. But first, before we get to that, here's some size comparisons that I need to show off anyway. So here he is with another tank, Bludgeon from the Revenge of the Fallen line. Whew, I'm getting tongue twisted, my bad. So we'll get him out of the way, and for one more, with another counterpart of his series, there's Demolisher. So there's that. So, the transformation into robot mode. It's so easy that, I mean, I could probably do this in 10 seconds flat. But I'm not going to do that because it's just going to waste time for me. I'm just going to lift up the camera and show it to you guys. Like so, flip up the feet, they peg in, like so, flip back the heel spurs, there's Megatron already standing up. Flip that around, rotate the waist section, bring down the mass piece right there, flip up these panels, bring out the arms like so. This one is a little harder to get out like so. You can also flip the cannon piece around like so, like Generation 1 Megatron. And there you go. There's Megatron in his robot mode. That was too easy. So if I didn't have to explain that, I probably could do it at a shorter time. So, what does Megatron have in this mode? Well, this is the issue with Megatron. But before I get to the issue, let's go ahead and just get this out of the way for the heck of it. Here he is in the size comparisons with Bruticus, or, you know, Ruination from a Walmart gift set I got back during the Transformers Universe line. So there's that. And last but not least, for another size comparisons with a deluxe figure, here he is with Black Arachnia from Transformers Universe as well. So there you go. There's your size comparisons. So, Megatron in this mode. Issues. Well, here they come, unfortunately. Like I said, with these Minicon gimmicks that all these figures had, they were bound to have issues. And it comes into the articulation department, unfortunately. As a matter of fact, the figures didn't really pick up in articulation until the Unicron battles started. And when that series came out, most of them were repaints, but the ones that weren't were loaded with articulation, like Unicron. Anyway, Megatron. Articulation in the shoulders. Articulation at the swivel of the head. Articulation, 90-degree elbow bends. The wrist swivels as well. Like so. That's the lower arms, my bad. Lower arm swivel, wrist swivels. This one doesn't. It also has a gimmick right here, which you don't need a Minicon, even though he's got an additional 2 ports. So that's a total of 12 now for Megatron. Flip this up, and he pulls out a knife that he used on Optimus Prime in the final episode of Armada called Mortal Kombat. So there's that. And really, after all that, the only thing he's got left is a waist swivel. His legs have the Fortress Maximus syndrome, where they only go out into this certain area and they only bend at that certain area at the knee. And I guess you could consider this articulation, but that's just transformation. So that's it. Megatron has no more articulation. He's got a good amount at the upper half of his body for the time. But really, this is out of time right here. This is Generation 1 right here. I mean, he can't even kick his legs out unless he went to the side and kicked Optimus. But that's it. He doesn't even really have knee joints. You cannot consider this a knee joint. Knees do not bend like that. That's a broken knee. So, I mean, that's the issue with this figure. And that's the issue with the Armada line, period. Articulation was a joke. It really was. And it's all thanks to these Minicon gimmicks. But, to his credit, one last thing that I have to show off was a little special firepower that he had when he actually linked up with Leader 1 in a couple of episodes of Armada. He would actually lift up like so, especially in the show. It was just like this. You can flip the turret piece around like so. Flip that down like so. You can also take this piece like here, fold it, bring it out straight. And then you can take Leader 1, and since he's already in his vehicle mode, you can peg it in like so. And there you go. There's Megatron's ultimate firepower of destruction. Which in the show, some reason, he called it Evolution Transformation. I don't understand that. It just makes no sense. Anyway, for this gimmick, which I cannot show you unfortunately because it is a broken turret, as I told you at the beginning of this review, Megatron's turret is supposed to have a click in its rotation. Unfortunately, it does not. There is nothing. So this dial piece right here, which was on this side, which was clipped back here, cannot actually activate the rotation gimmick. As you can see, it barely moves anymore. The turret is supposed to go around a full 360 to show off that feature like in the show. Unfortunately, it does not work for my figure. So that's kind of a downer, and I mean, I'm sorry I can't show that off. It would have been nice. But I can't show this off as well. Leader 1's transformation is simple enough. Sorry I forgot to show that, but there you go. Also in the show, he actually held him like a gun. And you can do that with this figure. You can. If I can get the cannon out of the way and show you, you can peg in Leader 1's arm in here. It should hold in place. And he's holding him like a gun. But he only did that in a couple of episodes. But other than that, that's it. I mean, I got nothing else to say about Megatron except whether or not he's actually worth it. If you're into the Armada line, of course he's worth it. If you like the design of him, I guess he's worth it as well. But if you are one of those people like me, who think that the articulation stage really hit a downer when these figures came out, even after the successful Robots in Disguise line, that was loaded with articulation, loaded with repainted figures that still had a good amount of articulation from Beast Wars, Beast Machines, and some of Generation 2. I mean, I'd say stay away with this figure. Just stay away. Avoid him at all costs for that reason only. It is due to the fact that Hasbro was going with these stupid gimmicks for the Unicron Trilogy series that it just really destroyed these figures overall. They look good. Posability is not there. The design, the details, all that's nice, but without the articulation, these figures really serve no purpose to adult collectors rather than the kids, which they were meant for anyhow. For that reason only, I can forgive them for this. So, that's it. You've got my opinion right there. So, if you really want this figure, it's at your own risk. But I wouldn't cough up to 50 bucks, especially with something that doesn't really do much for either mode. So, questions, comments, you can leave them down below or answer when I got time. But that's the end of this review. And until the next review, which I will have up as soon as possible, that's me, RedX, signing out. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I will see you next time.